Well, I'm back in the saddle again. Yes, I'm back in the saddle again. Well, actually, what I did was, yeah, I know. 4 videos in one day. This is crazy. Well, I'm on a roll, man. What can I say? I pumped up the microphone volume, so I'm not even going to check it. I think it used to be 10 dB up. So I'm hoping that solves the problem of my audio being slightly quiet. So what we got here is we're going to fix the problem. Okay, the problem was right here. Okay, so we actually just cut to this shot. So this is going to be really easy and fast to fix. Let's get rid of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the bluff. Okay, so originally when Mel was came down into this area where the tent was, he crawled down over this bluff. Okay, actually I don't like quite the way I did that. Oops, can't do that. I'm going to go ahead and push this over like so and make this more of a that type of thing. Okay, so it's a little steep. It's a little steep. Okay. Okay, there's the bluff. Okay. Now let's just have some fun with Mel. And I think maybe we should do this anime style where we actually take the still frame of Mel popping into the frame, and then we just cut. We just jump cut to this. You see the bottom of his sandal here. He's scrambling up and over, and we'll change color for the last. So we see his sandal disappear over the ledge. This is eerily similar to something we had in the anime, the other anime, where the guys were climbing the wall. So this has to happen really fast. I mean, Mel basically scrambles from this shot. He turns out of frame, and then you just see him go up the bluff. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and actually erase. Let's do selective on the erasure so we can just undo that. I clicked selective and nothing happened, so there we go. Okay, that's cool because that means we can reuse the shot of the bluff. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is hello, OpenTunes? Oh, I see. That wants to add it to the previous. I should have. Okay. Stupid attack here. And now things appear to have been frozen. Oh, okay. I got lucky. Save everything. Yeah, let's go back to. It's still thinking, by the way. It's still thinking. So we're going to be a little bit careful now what we're doing, so we don't introduce a crash. Well, oh, there it went. Okay, we're good. Okay, so scramble, scramble, scramble. And I think I will go ahead and delineate a little bit better You know, the hair is the giveaway. That's how you know it's Mel, right? So we'll just kind of do this number. Boom, 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 boom. So that could literally be cut, 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 done. About a second and a half of 3 frames per second. Did I say that? On 3s. 8 frames per second animation. Okay, so then that puts us up here on the bluff. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and show the grass overlooking. And then down here, we've got the tent situation. So that's on frame 405. Let's go back and see if maybe we can actually steal the exact shot from earlier. And if we go along here, there's the tent, and boom. There's the actual shot, isn't it? So let's go select, S key, control, hello? I said select. You cursed thing, you cursed thing. Okay, and so then here, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and erase. Hit the S key, paste it in, and then actually, since we're doing selective erasing, we can actually erase the monkey. And what we'll do, since everything else is blue, is we'll use the fill tool to fill lines and actually color everything else blue. And then, how do we want to show Mel? I think it'd be cool if we, let me see. You know, this this stuff is all going by so fast that we really have a lot of latitude in terms of how we do it. But what if we actually stretch our boy out a bit? Like so. I'm just going to play with this. Okay, so we've got obviously a stupid situation right here. There we go. Thank you. Okay, now let's go. Let's say, let's pull this over here, F. Okay, and let's say we're going to have him wrangle his way around like that. So this is actually a shot that arguably doesn't really actually need to be in the show. It's kind of a lot of work for maybe not a great storytelling benefit, frankly. That's what I'm thinking. But let's just roll with it for a moment and see if we change our mind. Okay, so I'm going to just put a line here to indicate that if we're going to do this, we've got to do this. We've got to get his leg up and over. Okay. So again, I think I think this is the wrong idea. I really think this is the wrong idea. Let's try a different idea. Let's say he scrambles. Let's just cut to this. I think this feels like it's easier to do and it's better storytelling too. Okay? I think. Okay. So we have him. The question in play here is whether we gain anything by having Mel not see Tianara come out of the tent. My thinking, as I'm sort of seeing this storyboard play, is that we don't really gain much by keeping that a big secret. Okay, I don't like this either. So give me a minute to play with this. What would his pose be? I think he'd be like this. Yeah, and his hands would be over like this. because Mel would be being very quiet. So there it is. It's all about that pose. It's all about getting the pose that tells the story. Okay, so let's say this is what he's doing. Let's review. So he sees some motion on the bottom of the tent, and he sees the hand pop out. He's like, ah! Let's get out of here. So we're going to have probably one tween there, maybe two, but probably one. And then cut, cut, cut. And then we just cut to this. If we allow this shot to sit, in other words, it goes brrr, boom. Then, after it percolates for a moment and the audience digests where we're at, so it's just hold on this shot for a minute, then we can move Mel up just a little bit. Let's see what we have here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is hit the B key and add a new shot. And this is what I'm going to do. Like I said, I am postulating that we don't gain anything by not allowing Mel to see TNR come out. Actually, if based on the action that's coming, it's not actually helping us tell this part of the story. So I think this is better. So he peeks out like this from over the bluff, and then she's coming out, and yeah, this was the tree shot. So we're gonna absolutely get rid of this. She comes out. We're gonna get rid of that. Okay. And that brings us up to speed. This is, like I said, this is better storytelling anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, grab this, Control C. She comes out from under the tent, and Control V. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fill this. See? Whoops. I always forget on this machine, once I select something with the selection tool, I have to use my mouse to actually move it. Okay. And we'll go ahead and do squash and stretch. That's pretty economical. And obviously we will see his head completely disappear. Boom. So she comes out, and now the question becomes, is this shot needed? We see her coming out from under the tent. I'm going to say the odds are extremely strong that this shot is not needed. Just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to leave it in for now. Okay? Thusly, I'm going to turn her head this way. And the only thing we're going to animate is the head turn. And then we'll cut to so right here we can animate in fairly low resolution. Like that. So we're going to see her head kind of shift from looking around to looking up. And when she looks up, she gets a plan. So now we get a nice close-up of this lovely girl. And she is a woman on a mission. And she sets her attitude with a steely resolve. She knows what she's doing. Let's go ahead and correct this little mess right here. And what we might do is, do we want to, we don't, you know what, why are we going to put the blade in the shot? It doesn't help us. Okay. And let's just flip this to make sure we're looking good. What time is it? 11:25. Funnily enough, normally I have a brewski around noon. No, I'm not an alcoholic. I normally allow myself 1, maybe 2 drinks a day, and I actually tend to like having a brewski at around noon. Sometimes in lieu of a lunch, actually. And today, because I started so early and I had gotten 3 hours of storyboarding in by 10 o'clock, I'm like, it must be brewski time. It's like, no, it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Gotta wait. No big deal. Okay, let me just correct that. And okay. I'm not sold on the mouth. Okay, that's alright. That's not too bad. It's fun. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to select, sorry, S key. Actually, let's just select all of this. Remember, we can selectively erase. So we just switch to blue and hit the E key, and only the blue gets erased. Nice! Now let's go back to black, get rid of this erroneous stuff from a previous idea. And I tell you, here's what we're going to do. This is so economical, and it's going to be really cool storytelling too. I'm just going to put her silhouette in the foreground. So all we have is that. We know what she sees. We know what she's going to do. And then let's take all the action back to Mel. Alright? So now let's go back here. Let's see, we got to get this shot here. Okay. And here's how we're going to play it. Actually, let's go ahead and get all this. Did I just see what I thought I saw? Let me see. If I hit the S key. That's interesting. Okay. Something I didn't know. If I hit the S key and just make a little gesture, it selects all. Awesome. That's a huge time saver. It actually is. So S keys, Control V. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to grab the, I'm just gonna indicate the orientation. I think that let's go ahead and erase this shot because I think it's not quite what we're wanting. And let's see, let's do the same thing we just did. S key, gesture, And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull out on this shot. Okay. So S boom. Oh, I can't do that. S boom. I got to use the mouse. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So we want this shot. Okay. And this could be a lot of fun. This could be one of those shots that I go ahead and let's really animate this. You know, let's take a little extra time on this shot. Really just illustrate the whole thing. Or not. Haven't decided for sure. But if this was where we started, then actually, if we were going to over animate it, we would go from this okay, so we'd have the body orientation the same, but his head would be down. He looks up and turns his head. So this right here would be actually kind of a big job, actually. You got to get from here to here. Right? That's okay. We'll, at the moment, we'll contemplate doing it. And so now what I'm thinking is, we're going to go back here and we're going to run this in reverse real slow. I hope this makes sense. So we would not have squash and stretch, obviously. And the angle on his head would be really high up. We're really looking up at it. And he's very carefully peeking. Right? Oh, and this is one of those cases where, you know, you need the musical score to really support this, you know, a crescendo that's happening. And by the way, I didn't really do that eye very well, did I? So he's slowly peeking. And now what we need to do, you guys know where this is going. Now what we need to do is really sell this the next moment. How are we going to do that? Well, what if we did the complete opposite viewpoint and we don't put Mel in the picture? Okay. So we pop Tianara up very quickly. So she pops up fast. He crawls up slow peak. But then from his perspective, I don't like the way I drew. I don't like the way I drew her eyes at all right there. That was pretty sloppy. Let's not forget the structure. We're actually going to be looking down a little bit on her. So she pops up. Okay. Do we want to put Mel in here? Let's see what happens if we put Mel in here. The shape of his hair is real distinctive. So I'm gonna just kind of I'm actually moving a little too fast here. And as a result, I'm not drawing very well, which is not a good thing because, you know, we do want to leverage all the drawing that I do on this storyboard. I want to leverage as much as possible into the actual animation, which means I want to, as much as possible, actually turn these drawings into ink and paint. So let's kind of sort of get it right. What if... I'm not going to show her other hand because right now I don't want to deal with the knife. I think it's premature to do so, Alright, so let's erase this and do this. Let's do this more better. There we go. Okay, that's good. That gets us to the point where we're actually past where we left off the last session. And just playing now, playing around with what I want to do. Alright, so this would be one of these deals. So she's up there, like that. He's freaking out. What the heck is going on? So this is his hands in anime chaos mode. Right. And I'm thinking, here's the dagger. Now we see the dagger. So she is a feisty little thing. Crawling up here like this. Okay, don't like the way I did this. It's kind of like the right concept. Number one, it's too big. As usual, always draw things too big. Okay, I think that's probably better. Okay, so now we're seeing the edge of the bluff. Okay. Now, here's how I think I want to play it. I'm kind of seeing this in my head. I think I want to cut right to it. Like this. Okay, so she's got the blade on him, And he's like, "Ooh, hey, careful with that thing." In fact, it'd actually be funny if he said that. Okay. Don't like this because I don't like the angle. So how much I need to expand this out in terms of animation, we will see. But what we're doing is we're kind of buying ourselves the fact that we're not really showing her scurry up, because this is the edge of the bluff, so she's just leaning her weight on it. So I think, put it this way, as a storyboard, I think this sells the idea really well, but turning it into a finished animation is going to be a bit of work. This is an ambitious shot that I'm doing here. You know, I'm putting in the... Okay, this I don't like. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the... anime style, like the mouth from the side that way. Maybe. Okay, don't like what I just did there. Let's just redo it. Alright. So the blade would definitely come up quite quickly. So let's take... OpenTunes is wanting to lock up. I hope it doesn't. It is locked on the fill tool and doesn't seem to want to switch back, so that means it's about to freeze, which is not good because, oh boy, I tell you, I have had so many times in the last few days where I thought for sure OpenTunes was going to crash, and in the past I think it would have, because of not being patient and waiting for OpenTunes to finish whatever it was thinking about. So I'm kind of learning, if you're just patient with OpenTunes, it normally recovers. So this is what's going on here is boom. Okay, I actually like my idea there. Okay, and she says, who are you? Me? I'm nobody. Okay, I want to flip this. Yep, I knew it. Sorry about that. There we go. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and save my work. I feel like I've got some good things happening, and I'd hate to to lose it. So, whoops. What the heck just happened? Okay, I think if I hit Z, yeah, OpenTunes does not know what to do. Okay, so this is definitely an OpenTunesism. That's okay. We'll just redraw it. And not hugely better or worse, I imagine. Okay, and what I want to do is actually put his hand up. Okay. I'm just going to indicate the fingers. I'm not going to draw it out right there, right this minute. Be much of a pointer. Okay, boom, boom. Okay, now let's go to blue. Me? Okay, so we're going to go from, we're going from me? I'm nobody. Okay, and actually I think the eyes on this shot should actually be just like cartoon eyes, pure cartoon eyes, just slits basically. I'm nobody. Okay. And here's what we're going to see. Boom. And this is an intense line. This is TNR at her most badass. And she says, "You did not see me." I actually don't think the way I did the knife actually makes a lot of sense. But what might be cool, okay, so what I'm actually seeing is something more like this. I'm seeing in my mind, I'm seeing the blade with the hilt, kind of like this, in a really forced perspective. So that from this point of view, we could take that and just animate it a little bit, just move it a little bit. That'll work. I think that'll work. Apologies in advance to Darren T for my lame British accent, since he actually is British and kind of has dibs on that sound. But yeah, I think this is actually working really well. It's good storytelling, I think. Isn't that cool? She looks like she would rip your guts out without thinking about it. Okay, let's save our work and let's back up and recap a bit and make sure that things are flowing as well as I think they are. So where did we start? We started here, essentially. So Mel, which he's got like this armband thing. I hope, does Aladdin have an armband? If he does, I'll take Mel's off. I don't want him to, you know, of the iconic characters, he probably resembles Aladdin more than some. And, you know, I mean, in the early designs, he actually resembled Sokka, and I specifically changed him so he didn't look like Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Okay. Woo. Get out of dodge. Boom, 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 boom. Scurry, scurry, scurry. This is where the music helps. The music would be a very glockenspiely as he's up and over. And then he's going to slowly peek. And so, to be clear, by the way, I'm going to actually do a fill on his hand to indicate, just to remind myself, the hand does not move. Just his body moves, and it's going to be a real slow push up. Very slow. So we actually lost our... I wrote slow peak earlier, and where the heck did it go? So she comes out. Oh, it was the other one where I did the slow peak. My bad. My bad. He's actually just looking on this shot. Actually, I would say... Let's go ahead and save. Things seem to be acting a little bit like OpenTunes doesn't quite know what it wants to do. Medium speed. Peak. And when he sees her come out, bloop, with squash and stretch, she looks around and sees something in the distance that looks interesting. Mel is hiding. He kind of gets up. Yeah, I will tell you, this shot, almost certainly not needed. And what I'll do is I'll put not needed with a little question mark. Because to go from this to this kind of makes all the sense in the world. And then, so you cut from this. Now you got a jump cut to a close-up, and he slowly pops up, and then it cuts to his point of view, and she's not there, and then she pops up. So then, I guess what we'll do is we'll put the blade right here. We'll just see the blade. Gives us a little continuity. Okay, yeah, this is arguably, this part right here is going to be one of the hardest things in the whole show so far to animate, in my opinion. Just because there's more to what is happening in this shot than what we see in the storyboard. Because we really need to go from a normal pose to him jerking back. Hey, watch where you're pointing that thing. And so really, when the blade is back here, Mel should be here. Excuse me. So we kind of have this going on. I guess this actually won't be that hard. It's like everything else. Once you actually get down to planning it, you find out, oh, it's not that big of a deal. So really, she's going to poke, and he's going to back up. Who are you? Me? I'm nobody. And she's like, you did not see me. Mm-hmm. Okay. Control-C. Actually, let's think about this one for a minute. I think this is actually the pose we want. B, S, V. Let's save our level. Ah, that's interesting. S, V. That is actually a bug. Let's save all. Okay. I think that's a bug. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to take the blue and erase it. And now we want to take the red and erase it, at least part of it. And now we want to take the black and erase a bit. Okay. Alright, a little bit of correction here. Let's flip it around just to... Hey, mum's the word. Okay, so what's missing is the hands. Okay, so now we do have a little bit of an animation framing issue here. I guess if we put the hand up here, we're okay. Okay, so that works. So this is, again, one of those cases where using the red makes sense, because then we'll be able to erase, selectively erase the black. And okay, so let's just kind of indicate the hand. Don't worry about drawing them properly later. So we go to the black and get rid of that. Okay, so now S. Oh, come on. Open tunes. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Okay, so now here's what we want to do here. I want to do two. Let's assume he's going to be framed properly. And based on the fact that we know that, I'm not actually going to draw him where he's going to be. Alright. And honestly, do I really need to draw any more than this? I don't think I do. So Mel's going to say, hey, mum's the word. And then, hey, mum's the word. So that's what he's doing. I think you guys probably get it. I think you probably get it. The only caveat of what I did here being that his head would not actually be tilted in a different direction. Okay, and just so we remember that this is a bit of continuity, let's do this. I was going to write morph, but I think not. Let's just say this is going to... let's do it this way. We'll go from and to. And then here we'll just fill that with black, so we're going from that to that. Whoops. That might be okay. A little bit of a anime idiom going on. Okay, cool. So, where are we at? Mum's the word. And guess what? We just... Okay, yeah. See, I actually had in the script him seeing, watching TNR go and saying to himself, you know, I need to help her. and then he sees her quickly dispatch a soldier, and then he's like, yeah, she'll be okay, and then he remembers the letter. So apparently it looks like I got rid of that. So let's do this. Let's take this shot. S, Control C. Let's hit the B key. Control V. Let's save all. And then what I'm going to do is, let's go ahead. Oh, come on. And it won't eat. Okay, so there's something going on here wherein if you use the S key, you need to go back into hit the B key to go into paint mode. Or else if you go from just pasting with the selection tool to saving, whatever you just pasted in disappears. So note to self. Note to self. Actually, that's not quite what I wanted to do. Okay, I'm not 100% sure this is how I want to frame this. And by the way, that's too much hair. It doesn't have that much hair. Okay, so what we're going to do here is S. And whether this will work or not, I really don't know. But the idea would be the Tianara, and I'm going to go ahead and just paint this blue to show that this is another part of the action. Hello, I said I'm going to paint it blue. Okay, and then let's take the S key again here, rotate her head. So boom. So she's actually going to blitz right past Mel. Okay. So, yeah, lot going on here. Lot going on here. Leaving Mel a bit dumbfounded. Okay, there's his hands. And then what I'm thinking is I'm gonna just play with this a bit. What if, from his perspective, let's take this and move it over. Okay, so what I'm kind of seeing in my head right here is he sees her go. Okay, this is probably an example of where I'm over animating. I'm you know, if this was a Disney production, you know, a 1990s Disney production, then yeah, okay. Yeah, you probably want to animate all of this. But it's not, and we're probably way overdoing it. So, well, if you were going to overdo it, what you would be doing is you'd basically be taking this shot, putting it in reverse, and essentially making a walk cycle. Okay, so she's running off into the distance, and she's going to get a little smaller each time. So you're basically saying, let's create a walk cycle that's really just TNR running away, kind of, sort of in silhouette. Okay, And why would we do that? The reason I'm doing that is probably for a, a benefit that's not that big of a win in terms of the storytelling. Which would be what? Which would be he sees her go away, and then he whips around. The letter, and he remembers the letter. He's got to get that letter. Okay. So for me, on balance, I'm going to say this is way overdoing it. Way overdoing it. Because in the prior shot, we saw her blitz out of frame, essentially just leaving him standing there a little bit dumbstruck by the whole situation. Fortunately, because our angle is up, all we really need in the background is the sky. So that's good. For what it's worth also, I would say that Tianara in these shots should actually be more like down here. And probably the final pose would be more like here, as a matter of fact. So let's go ahead and implement those changes. So this is be like that. Okay, because we really don't want to see the ground, you know, of the bluff in this shot. Excuse me. So having said that, if that's what happened, then what we actually need from a storytelling standpoint is just Mel. Especially because if this is what happens, then that second or two of hold after Tianara's out of the frame gives you that sort of that deadpan moment, and then we would cut to this and he's like, the letter, right? Okay, so he's got to recover the letter. Okay, not totally convinced that I did this that well. In fact, pretty sure I didn't. I don't think I really did his hair quite right. Yeah, I know, it's a storyboard, but you know, every time I draw the character, I'm reinforcing his characterization, and it's good to get these things right. So honestly, I just don't really like his expression there. I think it's actually too cartoony. So let's try a different approach. Yeah, this will work better. That's more consistent with the character that we're doing here. Okay, so the letter. Alright, so now what's going to happen? Let's go ahead and put in another frame, and then I'm going to quit. We're going to go back here. Yeah, I think that what we're going to do is we're going to just see this again. Maybe again with a tent peg in the foreground, something that, because then all we have to do is show Mel leaning down, or even we just animate this. That would work. So just like we did earlier, we just show we show the edge of the tent, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cut to inside. And then we'll see the tent come up, and we'll see Mel peek in, because he's got to get that letter back. Okay. It's kind of hilarious, because in the script, you're talking about one paragraph of script. It says, Mel peeks under the tent, looks around. There's no monkey. Suddenly he spies the purse. He gropes in a bit and grabs it. Then Fala re-enters carrying the newly stocked tray of goodies. And she says, well, that's... And so then she comes in and says, well, that's that. And so then Mel quickly wiggles back out. And then Fala realizes that Tianara's gone. She's like, Tianara? And then Mel quickly ducks away. And it says he scurries behind the tree, because in the script there was a tree, but I think he does not need to... Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to do this really fast, though. Okay, so we got his hand... We got his fingers here. Alright. Let's really... I'm going to do this in really rough storyboard fashion. I'm going to say that for this shot, we can take this, we can make it a little tighter, go down like this. Let's go ahead and angle it. What was the prior shot? Yeah, it's the same angle. It's arguable whether it should be the opposite angle, but I think we're okay. Alright, so let's take the eyes. So what we're just doing here is illustrating that his eyes are darting all different places. And over yonder, which would be to his right, I'm just going to say, there's the purse. Okay. So this is going to require a bit of doing from a drawing standpoint, because we need to basically have the purse really sitting in context nicely around the, here's the table of goodies. So let's just say we're from this really low angle. Okay, so here's the table. And if we were going to do this, let's just say the doorway of the tent would be here. Okay, so if that was the case, well, here's the bottom of the table, and I know I'm drawing this with really crooked lines because of Mr. Right-handed here. Okay, but my point is that here's our horizon line. Okay, so the lounge, or the recliner, is here, with the table here, the doorway here in the background. So where would that put this if it really had been sitting there and discarded by Monkey? Well, it would be something like that. Okay, so I don't know if this is like the greatest framing ever. I tend to think not. So we're really giving ourselves a bit of a hassle here, in that we really need to get all the perspective right. And it's not that I have that hard of a time with perspective, but it seems like a lot of headaches just to just to show that stupid purse. So I'm gonna say, let's buy ourselves a little bit of screen real estate by actually putting Mel in the shot like this. Let's actually use Mel in silhouette in the foreground to allow for some slightly sloppier composition. And if that's the case, here's the table. This makes sense. This is definitely better. Okay, so now we see kind of the decorations and things in the background, but you've got the table with the bowl, the fruit sitting on it. Okay, if that were the case, the doorway of the tent, the horizon line would be something like halfway here. And right here, we're going to see the purse, which Monkey discarded a little while ago. And actually, we can even, let me check this. Yeah, we can even cheat more, because this is actually the tent. So we're really cheating. Okay? And so then what we're going to do is we're going to smash zoom to what Mel sees, which is the purse. Okay. And you want to really make this economical? There you go. Smash zoom to the purse and then animate the hand moving in to grab it. And then we come back here where he's under the tent. And he's got the purse in his hand. Okay, I'm going to go around here and see how I'm boogering this up, because I think I'm boogering this up pretty good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, again, because I'm kind of on a roll creatively, like I'm really feeling what this story needs to be, or the angles and stuff, I think I'm gonna try to move really fast here. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this, pull this down. Okay, yeah, this is better. Okay, so here he is in here with the purse in his hand now. He's got the tent groped over his back, so he's laying on his belly basically. And what would his, I think he'd actually have his hand like this, and so his arm would be something like that. I think it would. So yeah, let's not draw it completely stupidly. Okay, so shoulder. Yeah, it's actually, here we go. This is one of those weird things when I finally see it in my mind and sort of feel it. I don't like that. I'm really having a tough time drawing this guy laying on his belly. Okay, so what if we just do this? What if we don't even draw the other hand? Or we could maybe indicate it like that. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Sometimes the staging is challenging. Okay. And again, like I said, I just want to rough this in, since I'm sort of seeing in my mind pretty clearly what the storytelling needs to be. Okay, so reaches down, pulls it up. There it is. I think this would be better. I mean, compositionally it's a little weak. Let's just put it right there so we really see it. Smash zoom, hand reaches in. Happy Mel. I'm just going to defer on figuring that out later. Or I should say I'm going to defer on... Okay, stop. Defer on trying to draw it at this moment. Okay? Because... Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to draw... And by the way, I have to say now that I'm thinking about it, you actually could help this shot tremendously with this kind of framing. Just go ahead and push in tighter on Mel so that we really have our attention on what he has gotten. And doing it this way, we could just Control C, Control V. Let's go over here. Let's fill this with red. And then let's say we just lift it up like that. If we just show him with it in his hand and then going like this, looking happy, then that sells the fact that he grabbed it, and that's really all we need to see, which is that's really economical to animate. So we're back in better shape. So save this. Now I need to go way back. Yes, I'm using this shot. It's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a slight modification to it, but actually I think this is exactly what I needed. Okay, so let's go here, hit the B key, boom, hit the S key, save this, and then hit the B key again. Now what I want to do is erase that silhouette, erase monkey, erase Tianura. Okay, so now we can pretty well see what the framing needs to be, which is more like this. And that works out nicely because Fala can be brought in silhouette. So let's grab this. Actually, let's fill this with black. Let's flip her. I think we'll make her... Oh, no. Okay. So Fala enters. So all we have to do is show her her silhouette coming in. And actually, I'm going to rethink that. I'm going to reverse that. I'm going to go ahead and put it back the way it was. I think I like that better. Because then it feels more like she's sort of walking into the scene, orienting into the center, not out of it, because of the way it's framed. If she was more over here to the left, then it would make more sense to... Okay, so now we can pull in close on her. And so she comes in, and we'll show her move just a little bit so that we can then emphasize the fact that she stops moving. And okay, that's looking stupid. Why am I making faces? So, okay. So she comes in and she's holding the bowl that's now freshly filled up, because remember, Golik sent her to refill it. It's not totally clear, but it's implied that the reason he did that was just to get her out of the room. And she stops and she says, well, that's that. Okay, I can't spell. Well, that's that. And over here, and then she stops short, realizes that something's amiss, and I think for this shot, actually the lounger should be in there. And probably the definitive framing for this would be like over the shoulder, which I really don't want to do. Let's see what we have. If I do an over the shoulder here, I've got to paint an entire background image just for this one shot, which seems kind of stupid to me. So let's see if we have another shot. Yeah, well, I gotta go way back. Sorry about this. All the way to there. I think this would be a better shot. Okay, got it. Over the shoulder is not going to happen. So let's go Control C. Let's go to the last frame. Alright, let's erase this. Hit the S key. Paste it in. And then what we'll do is we'll get rid of Tianara. And we'll get rid of this guy. And we'll just kind of let the doorway grope. Alright. So I think it's going to be important that her expression can be read even in this really wide shot. Because this is how, as far as Fala goes, this is how the shot ends. Okay. And now, let's get back to Mel. I think all we do is show this coming down to the ground, and as we're doing this, optionally, we have Mel's hand holding the purse, slipping out. Okay. And that's better, because if we were still seeing his body in there, that would be a bit ridiculous. And what we could do actually would be better storytelling. It would be more forgiving in terms of what happens in what order if we do it this way. So he grabs it, he's happy, she pops in, says, well, that's that, and realizes, and then he slips out, and then she says, Tianara, question mark, and now we can cut to behind the tent. And Mel is so much happier because he's got the purse back with the letter. Okay, so let's kind of show him. He's kind of sitting like this, and he's got the purse, and he's gonna open it up, and we open the purse up. So we go from kind of closed to kind of open. And there's nothing there. Okay, that's a little bit silly looking. Okay, so this does kind of imply that right here there probably should be a little bit of a smash zoom. This would be a smash to punctuate the purse is empty. Okay. Let's go back to this. So we'll go like this and kind of have it in his hand. So it pops open, smash zooms in, and again, there's nothing in it. And his eyes will kind of go like this, because he knows he's got a big problem. So I'm sure you guys know that the eyeballs are going from here to here. Phooey. Okay. That is actually the end of this scene. And then it cuts to a whole nother sequence involving the wedding proceedings that are now going forward. So, with that, I think we're done. Probably done for today. This is 4 sessions. I don't know, I may come back to it, but this is a major segment of the show that I've gotten done. And I'm on page 37, so there's definitely a bit left to do, about 13 pages. So, this part was really complicated. A lot of action. Should we recap? Let's see. Let's recap a bit. Let's see what we have. So Golik shows up. So Mel's behind the tent. Monkey grabs a date. She winks at him, winks back. She notices something. Golik talks to her, and she decides to try to play him. He's not sure he's buying it. And she talks about what an honor it is to be marrying the prince. Ah, very good. Well, then he heads out, and now she's got something on her mind. She comes back here and starts to pull up the tent. Peeks out. Mel is like, that is one resourceful monkey. Meanwhile, the guard guides the prince into the tent. She notices that. He hears that. Vespar. Okay, so we've pretty well covered this. There's this really awkward exchange between Vespar and Tianara, where he offends her. Mel's overhearing this, and it sort of goes south in a hurry. And he tries to be tough with her, which doesn't work. He gets mad. He stomps out. Monkey actually is kind of spooked by her toughness, and he goes out as well. She rips off the veil, turns around, double checks the coast is clear, notices the daggers on the wall, grabs a dagger. She's heading out. Mel's in a panic. He scurries over the bluff, peeks. She comes out. He ducks because he doesn't want to be seen. She comes out of the tent, looks around, sees the bluff. This shot's not needed. Mel slowly peeks over the bluff, and then all of a sudden she pops out. Yikes! Hey, witch, where you're pointing that thing? Who are you? Me, I'm nobody. You did not see me. And he's like, hey, yeah, you know, mum's the word. And then she exits, and then he remembers he's got to get that letter. He goes down here, peeks underneath, spies the purse, goes to the close up to the purse. Well, smash zoom to it, then his hand reaches out, grabs it. He's a happy camper. Follett comes in. Well, that's that, and then realizes something's badly wrong. His hand slips out. She says, Tianara. It's a good ending to the scene. This would actually be probably pulling out slightly, like a slow pull out with the camera that suggests the scene is ending. And then back here, Mel's got the purse. Whoop-de-doo. He's a happy camper. Opens it up, and there's nothing inside. Gulp. Okay, that's it, guys. As you know, oh man, that was an hour and a half. Holy crow! I've been storyboarding for about pushing 5 hours today. Okay, well, there will be more later, and that's that. You know it's true.